Welcome to Negocios with BISILA BOKOKO, Business with BISILA BOKOKO. You could say it in English, you could say it in Spanish, it doesn't matter. And today is a special day for me because we have with us Sonia Nassery, which is a great friend of mine. But we're going to speak about something that is touching everyone's heart, particularly in Europe, and it's Afghanistan. And as a filmmaker, she did a great story about what's going on in the country. And I think that there is no better person to speak with today than with Sonia. Sonia, welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
I would like to know, like a little bit, how it was to grow up in Afghanistan and a girl full of dreams like you are.
Well, my country was one of the most beautiful countries in the world. You know, I was in Rome Film Festival, and the driver that took me to the festival told me, "Where are you from?" I said, "From Afghanistan." And he said, "Oh my God, my parents went there for their honeymoon." If that says anything, you know, it was a honeymoon destination. It was a gorgeous country with beautiful culture, very open, with all kinds of people from around the world, all kinds of religions from around the world. We had so many Christians, so many Jewish, so many Buddhists, Hindus, you name them. They were all living in peace. And the country was sophisticated, civilized, women walking on the streets with high heels and short skirts and going to stores, boutiques that were beautiful, vitrines outside, all couture from around the world will come to Afghanistan, and theaters and music and concerts and restaurants, discotheques, nightclubs. I mean, it was very civilized. As you know, women had their liberation in Afghanistan before American and European women even knew what the equality of rights were. And it's so unfortunate to see my country going 300 years backward. As a little girl, I just thought was the most beautiful place on earth, even though my father was a diplomat and we were traveling, living a lot in Europe. But every time I would come to Kabul, I would say, "Oh, I want to live here for the rest of my life." And unfortunately, the Soviet invasion, 1979, happened. And in December of 79, I escaped as a refugee and came to United States.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you're a doer, you're a human rights advocate. But how did you become a human rights activist? Somebody born like that or become?
I think I am a humanist. I have a very delicate heart, a very passionate heart. And I was 15 years old when I found out about myself, that I care about humanity. And mostly what keeps me up at night is injustice. When injustice happens to human beings, I want to fight for them. I want to give voice to the voiceless people. And when I became a refugee, I realized what it's like for your country to be taken over, to wake up one morning and everything you knew and everything you loved and everything you believed in as a young girl and hopes and dreams could be just destroyed overnight. And some foreign country could come and take over your country. And I remember seeing tanks the next morning and guards outside our door, and my parents couldn't get out of the house. We were under house arrest, and I escaped with an old man and came here as a refugee and read more about the injustice that's happened around the world, and especially what was happening in my country. And I wrote a letter to President Reagan at 15, telling him what was wrong with my country and that he was the most powerful man in the world and he must do something about it. Long story short, he invited me to the White House. I met with him, and that day my life changed because he empowered me to know that I could make a difference and I should fight for it, because he told me, he says, one person can change the world. You want to be that person? And I believed in it. I said, yes, I want to. And that's where my passion and compassion about humanity started. And it's been going on all my life.
Wow. You have a great track record like a filmmaker, and you won many awards. And your last project, which I happened to have been in the premiere in New York City, and it really touched my heart, is called I Am You. Can you tell us about this project?
It's so interesting, Licia, because art imitating life and life imitates art. It's very interesting how, as you saw the movie, how the timing of this film and what's really happening today is identical to a refugee story. As you know, it's a story of 3 Afghans, a young boy of 17, a woman of 20, a young girl of 25 that is pregnant, and an old man. And their missions are different. The boy leaves because his father gets slaughtered by the ISIS in front of his eyes, and because he wanted to leave and go to Germany. And his mother forced him to leave, and because they threatened her son. And then the young woman, the husband was against the Taliban, and they killed him on a square. And she wants her daughter, her baby in her belly, which is a little girl, to have a new life in this world and not be suppressed by the Taliban. So she wants to leave and give her daughter freedom. And the old man is his last days in the world, and he has an album that he wants to give to his granddaughter in Istanbul. So she has something about the history of Afghanistan with herself. And it's a journey from Afghanistan to Iran, Iran to Turkey, Turkey to Greece, and Greece to Munich. And we see through this film why somebody wants to leave their country, because nobody would leave their culture, their people, their home, their family. Nobody. They leave because 100% they're going to die, and they have 5% chance of living, and they take that chance. And through their journey, the road trip, you see what they go through and who makes it, who doesn't make it. And it's incredible that this film came out now, because I'm getting the most incredible response from this film. And it's open in America on Apple TV and Amazon, but I don't have international distribution yet. But internationally, I get so many emails from around the world. Where can I please see this film? Where can I watch it? It's just, it's anybody who is wondering who's the Taliban, why this is happening, and why should we care? If they watch this movie, it answers all those questions.
And for some people who doesn't know what is the Taliban, what you will tell them, because a lot of people hear these things in the news, but they don't know, and particularly from first-hand person like you. Can you just share with us?
Absolutely. It's a very good question. So Taliban are terrorists like Al-Qaeda, like Islamic Brotherhood, like ISIS. They have hijacked the religion of Islam and created a religion called Wahhabism that is nothing to do with Islam. So 1.7 billion peaceful Muslims are suffering because of these terrorist groups that have hijacked the religion. So what I would like to tell your audience is denounce them as Muslim. Never add the word Muslim and them together. They are terrorists. So it's only in this way that we can separate Islam and them, because people are afraid to say anything about the religion because, oh my God, you know, that they are Muslim. They are not. No Muslim goes and blows up a mosque during the Eid holiday with 700 Muslim in it and kill them all. No Muslim goes and kills children in a maternity ward with pregnant women. No Muslim in the world would ever, I mean, you know, the Islam religion is all about love, and it's the most peaceful religion in the world. There is nowhere in Islam that says you have to commit suicide. Suicide is one crime in the Islamic religion that is never forgiven, ever. There is other crimes that you will burn in hell and eventually you go to heaven, but this is one crime that is never forgiven. And they, in the name of God, commit suicide all day long. So there is and they marry 10-year-old girls and rape young girls. These are all forbidden by Quran. So we need to really educate ourselves about what is a true Muslim, what is Islam, and what is the difference between Islam and Wahhabism, that is a man-made religion in Saudi Arabia by Wahhabis.
Very interesting that you brought light to us about that. And what is the challenges that you encounter bringing this movie to light? Because I know it wasn't easy.
Oh my God. As you know, with the Black Tulip and this and the documentary, the Breadwinner, I for some reason make movies that makes my life impossible. I go and shoot in war zones, and I wrote a book about the making. Well, I Live Tomorrow, just the day I arrived in Kabul to shoot, and the day I came back 4.5 months later. It was hell on earth, because let's never forget, Taliban was always had a presence in Afghanistan. They were controlled. The government was, puppet government of the United States, but still they were underground and trying to suppress people. And they found out about the making of IMU, and it terrified me because it was a price on my head before when I made the Black Tulip, and I just knew that this is double the price. So I shot partially in outskirts of Afghanistan, but I never ever shot in Kabul IMU. But IMU by its nature was in different countries in the world. So, but even in those countries in the world, Iran is a very hostile country to shoot, especially when you're doing anything attacking these kind of terrorist, religious, supposedly, as they call themselves. Turkey, same, very difficult to shoot in Turkey. Also, incredible crew, but very difficult as far as getting permission. The taxes were insane in Turkey, but I wanted to shoot most of it in Turkey because it looked like Afghanistan, the colors of Afghanistan, and it was a very difficult shoot. I am dying to make a movie that I don't have people after me, I don't have gun pointed in my head, and I'm not shaking day and night with a serious heartbeat. And I could sleep with my pajama once without my war gear while I'm sleeping at night.
Yeah, I hear you. And how do you think your movie could bring awareness to the situation? Because you have a purpose and you have a why.
And I have a
why. Why are you doing this?
A why. Why? Because nobody else is doing it. Simple answer, honestly. Nobody wants to go to these countries because it's impossible to shoot, number one. Number two, it's uninsurable, unbondable. So it's really hard to raise money for these kind of films because any minute a bomb could drop and we could get killed. We could close the set and hightail it back. It's a lot of unknowns. And as a woman filmmaker, there is not many of us in Hollywood to begin with. There is only 7% directors in Hollywood. But in that small percentage, there's none almost that goes, I don't know any that goes to actual war zones, red zones, when the State Department doesn't allow you to go and make a movie under the bombs, pretty much. So I looked at years ago when in the 80s when Taliban blew up the Buddha statues in Afghanistan on TV. I saw that and some chills came into my bones, because I remember as a little girl going with my father to Bamyan and seeing this beautiful high mountain and climbing up there and looking it from the up to down and down up. What a massive Buddha that was. And it belonged to the world. It belonged to your children, your grandchildren, mine, and they will never see it. So they blew up something that belonged to the world. And that infuriated me to the point of insanity, because it was a huge piece of history. Buddhism started in Afghanistan. A lot of people think it was in India. It was in Afghanistan. There was another massive Buddha that was underneath this Buddha that was discovered after. And when I saw that, I started crying and I said, why doesn't anybody do something about it? And then I thought about it and I said, I am somebody. Why don't I do something about it? And it was that started this whole idea to go to Afghanistan. And then once you go there, there's so many other incredible stories that you become addicted to it. It's a country that just is so passionate and so beautiful. So many stories, so rich in culture, so rich in colors, such beautiful, prideful people that you go, where else could I make a movie but my own beautiful country?
And let's talk a little bit about business, since this is a business channel. From the business perspective, I mean, what it takes to do a movie like I Am You, and the cost and the crew and everything.
From business perspective, I don't know how. I think God has his hand behind me, because my intention is noble. I want to do something good for the world. And for some reason, people who are like-minded, who care about humanity, who care about opening a window to a dark area in the world and showing the world what it's like, come support me, come behind me and say, what can I do to help you? They put their energy, their time, their money behind it. And by some miracle from God, I always come under budget and I finish the project. The first one was nominated for the Oscars and won 21 film festival. This one was official submission to the Golden Globes, and I'm going to submit to the Oscar this year, and it won another 19 film festivals. So for some reason, it works out for me. And I think I Am You, business-wise, in my heart, I really feel it's going to be a huge success, because it's probably the last movie you will ever see coming from Afghanistan, at least in 20 or 30 years, or ever for that matter. So, and because it's the hottest subject of our life, refugees, and we are just beginning to see what the result of this horrible decision that the Biden administration made is going to be like. So I feel I am not a businesswoman, but I feel like so far, knock on wood, I've been doing good business.
And just to wrap up, what messages do you have for the Afghan women?
Oh my God. First of all, sorry. My hearts are with you. Don't ever give up. Don't ever, ever give up. Keep fighting. we will again destroy them. Afghanistan has never been conquered. Just remember that. Alexander the Great in its prime tried to take over Afghanistan twice and failed. Genghis Khan 3 times and failed. Russia 10 years and failed. The United States 20 years and failed. Taliban is 6 years and failed. They will fail. They will fail because now the Afghan women, a population of Afghanistan, 75% is under age 25. They are all educated, they are young, and they're full of life and energy. And education is the tool that you fight the enemy. You don't give up, you keep fighting. We will destroy them, and Afghanistan will be free again. I just don't want him to give up. I don't want him to hide. I don't want him to be scared. I want him to get out, and I want him to fight, even though it's very scary and very difficult. Nobody can run a country with the entire population of 37 million against you. There is no way they will succeed. It's just about a moment in time. And I want them to stay strong and keep studying, keep educating themselves and their children, because hope and faith is the most important thing in life. We can never lose faith in God and hope in ourselves.
Well, I'm speechless, honestly, Sonia, and you know that I'm a talker, but I think that you touch our hearts again. This is what you do with your work. And if you just can't change one person, you're already changing the world. So in this sense, I just give you all the strength that you need. We are with your country. We understand exactly what you're going through. And thank you so much also for taking the time in these moments of hardship to just be here with us and give us light in a matter that it's difficult for all of us to understand.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you do. All the years I've known you, you represent your country in such elegance and such class. I am really proud to know you. And thank you to the entire population of Spain for loving and supporting my country, Afghanistan. You are the most kind and thoughtful people, and especially Queen Sofia for all the work she has done for Afghanistan. I'm grateful to the entire country. On behalf of all the Afghan people, I want to thank you all.
Thank you, Sonia. We will definitely talk again, and hopefully we can see the movie in Spain very soon.
God willing, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.